Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to One Hub Racing. We're here for round number 3 around the Zandvoort circuit. My name is Jake. I'm taking you guys through this for this evening. Joined alongside me, as always, as well, after coming off of a decent P4 finish in the P3 tier, is Mr. Jamie Mep92. Jamie, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing very good, yeah. How are you doing? Yeah, it should be. Good race and a track which errors are very easily made. And yeah, we've got an interesting championship. Obviously, Papa Squanch having a great start, but there's a few contenders behind, very, very close behind, I think. Should be a good one.
Yeah, it certainly will be quite a close one, of course. Papa Squanch is looking quite dominant at the moment, I must admit. But I say dominant. He is being contended quite closely with the others. I think he just manages to pip it right at the end for these first two races. So he, of course, will be the one that is leading the championship at this moment. But, of course, round number 3 being Zandvoort. There are a few drivers I know that do tend to quite favour this circuit that are also pretty good or that are like quite closely contending Papa Squanch within this championship. I know Larkin is a bit of a fan of this track. In previous games, I don't know if that's changed now, but I know he is definitely he's a fan of Zandvoort. Of course, with the rest of the calendar coming up as well. Monza next week, replicating the real life race. Same with this evening, of course. No more break weeks either. I hope everybody did enjoy their nice little break week last week. It is just every single weekend now, straight to the end at round number 12 in Sao Paulo. So, I think this is going to be quite an interesting race this evening, Jamie. Do you have any early predictions? Obviously, I know we're just loading into qualifying now, but any early predictions that you can possibly think of?
Oh, it's very difficult. It's very, very wide open, I think. But I'm fancying Larkin having a good race. I think he could have a good race around here. And I think Salo as well. He's close to win. He's yet to win in one hub, and he's very close to it. And I think today might be the day for him. Yeah. And obviously Mokri, who's having a great start to league racing, and he's looking really strong. And there's about 5 or 6 drivers who can win this race, so it's going to be a great one.
Certainly can do for sure. Obviously, as I was saying, Papa Squanch taking the first 2 race wins of the season. Solau is the one that's actually sitting in second in the championship at the moment, with Larkin rounding out the top 3 points separating both Solau and Larkin. Mikey is the one that's actually slipped into 4th position after an impressive P6 finish at Canada last time out. Moggs, unfortunately, in 5th, but very sort of close by, 3 points behind his teammate of Mikey. So the Aston Martins running quite close with each other, which will bring me into a nice little segue in just a short moment. Matthias in 6th, with Rich in 7th, Jess in 8th, Quinn in 9th, and Gaza rounding out the top 10 in this as well. And as I was saying about the 2 Aston Martins, we have actually been told this evening that there is a bit of a rivalry going on between them. If we can just have a quick look as to the current rivalry between the 2 Aston Martins, you have got Moggs, who has outqualified his teammate twice, but the race very evenly between the pair of them. Obviously, no win instead of name could potentially change tonight, because I know Moggs is a pretty decent driver. Let's say 3 points separating the pair of them, and of course 0 DNFs. Moggs obviously just taking the last points position out in Canada as well. Obviously, both being reasonably new to One Hub, Jamie. What would you make of their performance so far in these first 2 races?
It's it's very good to see, and he's another driver I'm very impressed by. Yeah, them Aston boys, they are very competitive, and to have 2 rookies in the same team is always very interesting, because you're never quite sure what you're going to get. But they've definitely made an impressive start so far, and I'm excited to see how they develop, because you can only expect they'll get better and better with more experience.
Yeah, could not agree with you more. I'm intrigued to see how their performance is going to be. As you say, it should only just go up from here for the rest of the season for the pair of them. And hopefully, there'll be challenging the likes of, Larkin, Salau, and Papa Squanch. I think them guys, as well as Rich, I would say are probably the top 4 drivers in the tier. I'm sure a few people wouldn't mind saying that as well. But again, a few outsiders, the likes of Mike, the likes of Moggs, the likes of Mokri, giving them a bit of a challenge. So I'm intrigued on how the rest of that is going to go down. But I say, It is obviously here for Zandvoort this evening. As you can see on your screen, it does say the fastest lap was a 1:11.0. That has been completely demolished by Oscar Piastri now yesterday, if you did watch the qualifying. And of course, if you watched the race earlier on today. In case you also missed the weather strategy, it is a completely dry race and a completely dry qualifying as well. So I think qualifying is actually just clear to overcast. So fastest conditions will be the ones at the start of the session. We have got a few drivers that are out on the circuit at this current moment. So I will flick us on over to the session as Papa Squanch already setting a 109.4 to begin with here, Jamie.
Yeah, it's a very, very strong lap time already, and that's a really good banker lap. And if you're really confident about that, he's a 4 tenths quicker than his teammate Rich. And yeah, that should leave him good set for the rest of the session, definitely. And we'll see what Quinn can do across the line. What can he do? He does a 1:11.0, and yeah, Papa, I must say, quite good. And what do you think Pollack will be? I reckon it'll be in the low 9s. I think it would have been in the 8s, but I think because of the fact that he's overcast at the end of the session, I think that might make the quality a bit slower than expected, as I experienced that in P3, where the last run was just nowhere.
Yeah, I reckon a low 9. I actually reckon one of these guys will get in the high 8s. I mean, we're already seeing Papa Squanch and Salau already getting themselves into a 109.4, 109.5 to begin with. Mokri as well, 109.8, and I think that was Joe that just crossed the line as well to do a 110.5. So yeah, there's a few times here that are already very, very good pace, already beating out the P3 qualifying or top qualifying time from Mr. Senior Mason. Obviously, I think it was 109.6. I think he did on his pole lap. So, sorry, no, it was Jacob. My apologies, Jacob 109.6. So, yeah, I reckon we're going to see a couple of these guys, Papa Squanch, Salau, I say potentially even Larkin, get them into the 109, 108s, low 109. Morgan, who is actually Moggs, he's changed his in-game name, so he's now Morgan Nord. So yeah, more. I think probably just make it a bit easier for the pair of us. Yeah, Morgan is, I think, another one that we could also see potentially get himself within that top 4 spot. Same with Rich, I'd say all of those guys, and Fade in 3rd position as well. Again, another one that had a very good pre-season race and hasn't really sort of reflected it in his results so far this season.
No, definitely not. But I found the pre-season race a bit different, because obviously they're not streamed, and obviously some drivers I don't think really practice for it. Some drivers do practice for it, and I think you get a good impression of the pre-season race, but I think some drivers are definitely holding something back in that pre-season race, and it's just natural, really. I think the pre-season race is mainly used for drivers to get rid of the rust, and obviously getting used to the game in terms of league race, so you probably won't see the best of every driver in that pre-season race.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. I suppose, as you say, they're probably just trying to shake off a bit of that rust. Obviously, it's a new game, so they're still just trying to get used to the game, used to the setups, making sure that they've gotten everything right in terms of the race side of things, tyre strategy, all that kind of thing. So, yeah, and obviously it being Hungary as well, it's a bit of an outlier of a track in comparison to what we've got on the calendar here for this season. So, yeah, I think I'm intrigued. I think Fade is, again, he hasn't put in the results that I expected him to so far this season. I mean, he's had a P4 in the preseason race, but then he's had an 11th and a DNF, so he has got 2 points to his name. But I feel like the RB driver would want some more, and I expect him to potentially get some more for this evening. And I also especially expect this man on our screen to get some more this evening of Morgan, lining out into turn number 1. As we'll take you through a lap through himself now, coming up to the banking into turn number 3, taking it into 3rd gear, get on the power as early as possible to get the best run out of there, and now through the fast section of turns 4, turn 5 and turn number 6, and now of course coming to the downhill section, which if you have the right setup on, you can definitely take it flat out, just like what Morgan has done here as well. Down shifting into 6th gear and breaking around the 50-meter board to down into 3rd gear. Can take that in 4th gear, it depends how much speed you're carrying through there. Again, down through 3rd gear into the first of 2 DRS zones, of course the last one being out of the final corner. Braking at around 100 meters or just after the 100-meter board for this nice tight and twisty chicane. A very slow chicane, can catch a lot of people out if you get a bit too trigger happy on the throttle. And now through what I'd like to say is normally the final corner. Of course, you've got the massive bank in, that's the final corner, but that is completely flat out. The final corner part, Morgan is coming up to the line, and it's a 109.643 for him. Slotting into P3, a very good lap time to slot himself right behind Salah, Papa Squanch.
Yeah, I think he picked a good lap there to be on board with. Yeah, nice little good lap for him there. Good confidence booster for him. He's probably got 2 more runs at it to lower that benchmark even further. As you know, you've got a lot of guys now coming out on track doing out laps. You know, it is possible on this track to do 4 qualifying laps because of the short nature of the track. So you're going to see a lot of guys out on. Going to see a lot of laps done so far, and we'll see who else is on a good lap. I believe Mokri might be on the lap. He's coming towards down the second DRS straight now, coming up to this chicane, which I don't know about you, but this chicane coming up, it's a right pain in the neck. It's so easy just to dip away into that gravel on the inside of the second part of it, and he takes it quite nicely though, runs a bit wide but gets a good exit. He might get a nice slipstream off the McLaren ahead, but he will get turbulent air through this corner, so there'll be a bit of, well, do you get better turbulence or do you get better straight line speed? I think the turbulent air affected a little bit through there, but you get a nice towing here, and he goes to a tight line to line. What can he do? Will he move up? He moved to 6th place there, improved by a 10th, and yeah, up to 6th, and he's 4 tenths off pole, but he's already down in 6th, so it's a close grid as expected.
Yeah, very close grid indeed. Papa Squanch, of course, making that improvement. Rich 500 making an improvement up into 4th position. Tied on the time with Morgan, so because Morgan set up first, it means he goes ahead, but both Rich and Morgan with the exact same lap time. And very, very interesting.
Yeah, Salo's also just done a lap there. He's done a 9.375, so he's only 200ths off Papa, so that gap is coming ever closer. But it's at the moment, it's looking like a 2-way battle for pole between Papa and Salo yet again.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I think another Aston Martin is currently on a lap. Mikey, it says he's 10% down on his ERS, so I'm assuming he might actually not be on a lap, but it said he was about 2 tenths off on his time, so I don't know if he is actually going for a lap. No, he's not.
He's on medium, so he's on medium. Yeah, he's not on lap. No, he's probably on an in-lap, I guess, by judging by that.
It certainly is. But, yeah, I mean, early times that we've got so far.
So he gathered more to Gazza there. Gazza at the moment coming into the bank in the penultimate corner. He scraped the wall, but luckily enough, no damage done. Oh, it might be slight wing damage, but yeah, he managed to survive another day. But scaling up for Gazza there, he almost lost his wheel in the wall, but he managed to survive for another day.
Certainly does, and you can see that broken front wing on that McLaren, so luckily he's managed to keep that one and keep going with that. Got to say, Gazzaman, obviously last time out in Canada, very impressive result. Obviously, I know it was more down to the penalty side of things. And a safety car, of course, helping him out with that. But yeah, I've got to say, Gazman, very impressive result, of course, for his return in one hub last time out in Canada. See if he's able to try and replicate it today. Of course, he is down in 15th position, but penalties are not impossible to get around here. It is difficult, but it is definitely not impossible. So we'll see if Gazman can replicate that as well. I have just seen Mikey has left the session, so hopefully we can get back in as soon as possible. Welsh Benjamin coming across the line now. Of course, without his other fellow Welshman of Ivan Mike not here for this evening, Welsh Benjamin comes across the line to chuck it up into P11. So we'll see if he is able to make any more improvements on his final lap once he comes in and out of the pits. A few more people that did make some improvements as well. Larkin made an improvement up into 7th position with a 109.7. Jess very closely followed to her teammate as well into P8, so very close, very tight knit between both of the Red Bull drivers. Lawrence made an improvement up into 9th as well, 109.9 for the Kick Sauber. I say Mikey, I think we were just waiting for a lap time from him. Rydog, I believe, is currently, no, he's on an out lap at the moment as well. So, yeah, a few improvements that were made within that second part there, Jamie. Obviously, with 6 minutes left to go. We did say that the clear bit was going to be probably the fastest time, but of course the track evolution in the game, it'll probably help him out a bit more, even despite it being overcast.
Yeah, definitely. You got 16 cars every lap. They're putting more rib on the track. So yeah, I think it will. You probably will get slightly quicker laps, but it won't be as much as it was with the clear weather. Because I think on this game, clear is definitely faster. But we'll wait and see. And all it takes is a good bit of slipstream, a good lap at the end there. As I believe Morgan's on a good lap. He's a 10th up coming into the final sector. Pallium's a 10th up with the sector, but we'll wait and see what he does now. He's going to approach the banking. You draining all the battery using DRS. He's not really calling last corner. Going to approach line now. What can he do? Cross the line. Can he get any closer? Yes, he's within the 10th of pulse there. Good bet by Morgan there, and he has time to go in and go out again and do another run. So he can go even quicker than that if he wants to.
He certainly can, but this man on your screen, Papa Squanch, is currently sitting on pole at the moment. He was 2,000ths up on his time through the second sector. Is it going to be even more of an improvement for the Williams driver as he comes up to the line? It certainly is a 109.240. That is actually faster than what I have seen Callum and Armed go. So that is a very, very impressive time from Papa Squanch. And I think a few conversations might need to be had about potential tier changes at this point here, Jamie, because that is
definitely
an impeccable lap from him.
That is an impressive lap there. As his teammate Rich does a 109.5, so the Williams boys definitely improving there and jumping up the field quite nicely there. And yeah, that's a very impressive lap there. We'll see what Salo can do now. He's starting the lap now, so see what he can do. We'll see get his first sector time up pretty soon. Can he get anywhere near that lap? It's going to be difficult because a 10th of lap doesn't seem that much, but it's only a 79. It's only 69-second lap, so to find that much time, it's going to be very difficult. It's a short track, but apparently it's a 10th and a half up in the first sector, so a cracking first sector from the Mercedes man, and he could be on course for pole position if he just matches the sectors for the rest of the lap.
Yeah, he certainly could be. So Salah, let's see what he's able to do within the second and the third sector around, of course, this Zandvoort circuit. Making his way up towards the first DRS zone. DRS now, of course, activated for the Mercedes driver, chucking it into overtake, coming up towards this chicane. Again, a 10th and a half up on his time, so this will go up ahead of Papa Squanch. I was saying about Papa Squanch, potentially immediate move up. Salah being another candidate for that, as he goes and slips it into the wall. He was on for a very good lap time, and I think we may have just had a bit of a commentator's curse on that. Took a bit too much curve, a bit trigger happy on the throttle, and that is him into the wall. Of course, he's got enough time to go back into the pits, chuck on a fresh set of tyres, and get himself back out. But yeah, that was looking like I think that was looking like the lap time to. That
was a shame. Yeah, that was a shame for him because that looked really good. And I'm sort of saying his exit out the chicane looked really good. He was going really tired, but yeah, just a little bit too greedy on the throttle. See, he's had to go to bank collapse before. I'll give it that little bit more, that little half 10 extra going to work out, but. As always in qualifying, you've got that limit a little bit too much, it'll punish you. But luckily for him, he didn't lose a wheel. He could have easily lost a wheel there, but it's only wind damage, so it's not too bad. And as you say, he can go out again and have another shot at it. As I believe Phage is on a lap here, he's about to finish it. Can he improve his position? He's 6th at the moment. Crossline goes up to 4th there, so it's a 109.5. And these guys putting us wrong about the overcast. They are all improving on the overcast conditions, which is great to see.
Yeah, they certainly are, and I'm expecting a couple more people to be making some form of improvement. Obviously, Mikey, 110.0 for an improvement for the Aston Martin as well, so he has made that slight improvement. Still staying in 10th position, but keeping him up ahead of Joe. I think Joe would have actually just jumped him if he did not improve on that lap time. So, yeah, Mikey retaining that 10th position so far. Gazaman did also make an improvement on 110.3 for him in that McLaren. Hogfield split by 1.4 seconds, and Rydog, of course, on an outlap. In fact, actually about to start, I believe, his final lap now. Obviously, 2.5 minutes left to go of the session. So we'll see what Rydog is able to do in that Haas as he makes his way around turn number 1. Shaky little bit of overtake just out of the first sector just to get the best traction as possible. Going through the turn 3 banking as well. And keeping a bit of traction there. Needing to keep it in overtake through this fast section here. Doesn't actually keep it in overtake, so going to just maintain a bit of battery probably for the end banking part as well. Through the downhill section, jumps it down into 6th gear. Again, through the fast right-hander as well, chucks it down into 6th gear, same with that. Into 3rd gear now through this corner here, and through the long sweeping left-hander. Coming up towards the first DRS zone, chucking it into 3rd gear. Going to use a bit of overtake for this as well, best to do so. As comes up to the chicane 3.5 tenths off on his time, so puts him around the likes of Welsh Benjamin and Gazaman if he manages to get this final sector right, chucking it a bit of overtake. There's still a 50% battery left to play with out of this final corner, so going to be burning every single bit of that ERS that he's managed to save up. A little bit of a wobble coming out of the bank, and I think he managed to just touch the grass ever so slightly, but up towards the line he comes. 110.222 for Rydog, up into 12th position as Mikey has retired from the session.
Yeah, It's a bit weird because there's still time. It must have run out of time. Must have in the garage, I assume, there. But yeah, it's quite bizarre. I don't think he's on track, so he got his time on there. But nice movement there for Rydog there. A good lap there, and obviously he'll be not to be in the back of the grid, and I think he won't be with that lap time. So yeah, good to see him improve. As we've got Morgan's gone to pole position for 109.2. He missed that, but Morgan has lowered the benchmark even further, and that is great to see, and that's going to put the pressure on Papa and Solo. Can they get into the 1 minute 109 ones? I think that's what you're going to need to get into pole position.
Yeah, they certainly could do. So I'm expecting a couple of them. I'm expecting Salah and I'm expecting Papa Squanch to jump themselves into a low 109 or even lower 109, shall I say. Maybe, just maybe, one of them could pip a 108. If they do, that would be a very, very impressive time. But Welsh Benjamin, going to be the first one across the line here, as making his way up towards the line now. Of course, to see the only Welsh driver and here at the moment, and into 13th position at 110.279. So there's some gaps where it's very sort of close between a few of the drivers, and other drivers it's very they're kind of put into like almost categories. You've got the likes of all the way from even from Lawrence all the way down to Quinn, only separated by half a second, and then you've got the other guys all separated there by 0.6 of a second. But
yeah.
Who's going to be the first one across the line? I believe it's Mr. Rich 500.
Yep, it's a good lap for him so far. I think it's going to be improvement, and yeah, he moves up to 4th, bumps the RB down to 5th, and yeah, good luck by Rich, and we'll see if he can stay there though, because a lot of guys behind are going quicker. Jess moves up to 8th, I think he stays 8th. Mulkey's moved up to 6th. What can Larkin do? Larkin's a 10th down, I believe. Got a Ferrari across the line, which will be Vitinho. It's the only Ferrari here tonight, and he was to the 12th there. Good luck there by the Ferrari man. And Papa's on pole. Papa's moved to pole position at 1 minute 9.1, and I believe that will be our pole position time. He's only got Rydog on a lap, I believe. So yeah, Papa Squanch has nicked pole at the end of the session. Great effort there from the Williams man.
Yeah, very, very good effort from him indeed. And yeah, Rydog and Welsh Benjamin actually coming into the pit. So that is that done. Papa Squanch once again now on pole position. Of course, Morgan on Moggs took it out there last time out in Canada. But yeah, Papa Squanch now back on top. 2 pole positions so far this season for him in Silverstone and now around Zandvoort. 109.1. What a lap time that is. 2/10 separating him and Salah, of course, second in the championship. And then Larkin third in the championship, down in 7th position, but I've seen him make up quite a few positions. At a track that's very tough to overtake at, there is definitely ways that Larkin can make up some positions from there. But yeah, what a qualifying session that was. Yeah, Papa Squanch, take a bow. So we're going to have a lobby restart in just a short moment, and we'll get into some penalties very, very soon. But we'll quickly just take you through the order for our qualifying. So Papa Squanch on top with Morgan lying up alongside him in 2nd. Salah in 3rd with Rich 500 in 4th. Fade in 5th with Mokley in 6th. It's an all Red Bull 4th row of Larkin and Jess with Lawrence in 9th. Mikey round out top 10. Joe in 11th with Vitinho in 12th. Rydog in 13th with Welsh Benjamin in 14th. Quinn in 15th. And Gazzaman at the very back of the grid. Both McLaren boys looking to try and make up a few positions in this race. But as I was just sort of mentioning, we are, of course, going to be having some engine penalties as well as gearbox penalties and some actual grid penalties. So let me quickly just take you through that. Our only penalty in terms of gearbox/engine is actually our very own commentator and one of the league owners, of course, of Jess. She has taken a gearbox penalty. So it's a 5 grid place penalty for Jess. I said it was an all Red Bull 4th row. It's not an all Red Bull 4th row. She will be starting, I believe, in P14, as well as I did mention he's starting in 3rd and 2nd place in the championship. Solal actually got himself a 3 grid place penalty last time out for a collision. It was actually within qualifying where Richard was actually coming to the final chicane. So.
Yeah, impeding, I believe. Yeah, that was impeding penalty. Yeah, and I know Jess. I was speaking to Jess earlier. I know she wasn't too confident around this track, and I think she took that penalty, assuming that she wouldn't have such a good qualifying. But I wonder now, qualifying 8th on the grid. I wonder if she may be regretting that decision.
Yeah, I wonder if she is, because I say down in 14th position is where she will go to. 13th position for 5 grid place penalty yeah, 13th position she'll be starting in. A few of the guys, of course, that she knows that she'll be able to overtake her. It might be a bit tough for her to do the overtakes, especially being Zandvoort, a very, very tight track to overtake at. So, yeah, she's definitely got her work cut out for her. I think, again, a few people have probably got their work cut out for her. Both of the Red Bulls do, in my opinion. Both of the McLarens do as well. Starting at the very back of the grid, 16th and 15th, respectively. I think they've got their work out for them to try and make some overtakes. But again, I think it's going to come down to the point of if they manage to get some safety cars, or if there's going to be any penalties that get handed out, and then a safety car comes out for that. Again, it's all going to come down to that strategy-wise as well. That's why we do this on one hub, of course, doing a lobby restart and a two-stop strategy being mandatory as well. So, any sort of early prediction of what you can think of who's going to take it, possibly, Jamie?
It's very difficult. I'm looking at them first 3 or 4 cars in the grid, and I think Morgan, with the improvement we've seen from him, and only being less than a 10th off pole, I fancy. And we know he had good race pace throughout the season. I think Morgan may cause a bit of an upset here for our championship favourite and maybe sneak the win. I believe Salo's grid penalty is going to cost him a lot, because I believe he has got the pace to fight with Papa, but being down on the third row, it really isn't good. He needs to nail the start. The bad news for him is it's a very short run into turn 1, and you mentioned the guys at the back grid. They're only 1.1 seconds off pole, so it's not a massive field spread here. I've been in tears where I feel like I've done a good lap and I've been a second off pole and I'm at the back, and it is quite demoralising. But these guys got to realise that there's going to be incidents happen in the race, and you just got to pick up the pieces. And as Gaz has shown this season, he is the master at picking up pieces from carnage-ensured races.
Yeah, he certainly was. I have got Larkin in the chat asking me what the football score was. I'm not going to be too particularly happy about what I'm about to find out of that. Because if people know, I am an Arsenal fan, and Larkin is a Liverpool fan. And unfortunately, they did end up beating us 1-0. So I'm not particularly too happy about that. So, Larkin, I hope you know you're in for an absolute treat in the race for yourself, my friend.
Give him curse in the race.
Yeah, I mean, he usually has a nice little rain dance, and it is drier than the Sahara Desert in Zandvoort for this evening. I know you wanted me to read that out on stream. I'm very annoyed that he got me to read that out on stream. So I am preying on his downfall. Anyway, whilst we're just waiting for the lobby to, of course, restart, we'll quickly go through the sponsors for this season. Of course, first one being Next Level Racing. Obviously, a massive shout out to them for providing some. I'll start that again. For providing prizes at the end of the season. We'll wait and see what prizes, of course, are going to be provided from these guys at the end of the season. Next one being our brand new sponsor being Sim Racing Setups. Obviously, a big shout out to those guys. If you guys want some setups from those guys, more than welcome to go onto their website and use code 1HubRacing for 5% off for some very good setups. And of course, driver of the day vote, you will get a £10 voucher for or whoever gets driver of the day, will get a £10 voucher from for Sim Racing Setups. I have got myself mine. I have not used it yet, so I might try and accumulate a few of the driver of day votes and see how that goes. But we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that happens later on in the season. Next one being Pure Sim Gear, sponsors the league by providing sim racing socks and gloves to the driver with the most fastest laps and pole positions over the course of the season. You can also use code OHR10P to get 10% off on the sim racing socks and gloves. Next partner being, of course, one of the very own drivers in the P2 tier. Unfortunately, with a free grid place penalty of Vespertine, our very own Salau, the main head of that, partnered with Vespertine, who supports our official apparel, and also provides some great merch prizes. And of course, is how we entered the league, paying a nice £5 entry into them to be able to race in one hub as well. And of course, our final sponsor being SimGrid. Without SimGrid, we'd be using Google Drive, and there'd be a lot of spreadsheets, and I'm sure the organizers and the admins would not be too particularly fond of all of that. SimGrid just makes everything that much cleaner, that much easier. It's just input into one database, and that's that then done. So, big shout out to all of our sponsors for this evening. Obviously, we do appreciate the fact that you guys do sponsor the league week in and week out as well. So, a few sort of interviews that we had as well, a few pre-race interviews from a few of the guys around Zandvoort. A few of them quite missed the race, but they weren't quite missed racing. Larkin was saying that he missed racing. It was like having an international break 3 games into the football season. Again, I've somehow managed to mention football once again. I don't know how I've managed that, but hey ho. Yeah, I think he was quite missing it. He does enjoy Zandvoort, enjoys driving it when he gets into a rhythm. It feels nice. Did a bit of a practice race as well beforehand, so I expect him to make up a couple of positions as well. He did actually say he'd rather it be dry and save the wets, the wet conditions for any bad track or any of his bad tracks, which I'm quite surprised at because he usually does love a bit of a rain dance on it. And he also said if he gets 6 seconds of penalties here, then you can prepare my retirement announcement. So, Larkin, as I said, I'm praying on your downfall. Please get yourself 6 seconds worth of penalties for this evening. Yeah, so we can pray for that retirement announcement.
My springs on the pit lane are easily done, but yeah, well, we're watching football because my team are the British shocking football as well, so that's the last football mention of the night, I think. But yeah, anyway, it's F1, not football for us now anyway, and let's look forward to this race. It's going to be a great one, and the strategy interesting because there's several strategy options drivers can go for. I expect seeing the majority drivers start on the soft tyre because I think you can get a good 8 or 9 laps out of it, and then it'd be a combination of either soft medium's an option, also soft hard medium's an option, also medium hard medium's an option. So the good thing about this track is there's plenty of variety on the strategy, and of course our good old friend Mr. Safety Car may influence that.
Yeah, no, exactly that. So I'm intrigued to see what they're going to go for. I think the best strategy will probably be medium, hard, medium. Could be starting on the hard, so hard, medium. But again, depending on an early safety car, that might throw a bit of a spanner in the works with that. I've seen a couple of people in the P3 tier that went for the softs. I think it was Hockey Nye. He went for 2 sets of softs. He done a hard, soft. And it actually worked out quite well for him. Other than getting a 10-second penalty for speeding, it did work out a lot better than what I thought. And I remember Axel also saying at one point that for some reason, the soft, medium, soft would be the best strategy. Now, take that with a grain of salt because that's Axel saying that, but...
Yeah, he's a tyre whisperer. I couldn't do that strategy at all. I mean, I've got about 7 laps in the softs, and they were done. But it was good to them 7 laps, and it's definitely some tracks soft isn't a tyre for you can use in the race, but this track definitely is one where you can use soft, which is good to see all 3 tyre compounds as an option, which I think should be a thing on more tracks because in certain tracks there's 1 tyre compound which you just cannot touch. It's just either too slow or just too soft.
Yeah, I completely agree with you in that as well. So. Just waiting for a few of the drivers to ready up, and then we will get this one underway. Obviously, get your predictions in the chat for who you think is going to come out on top, who you think is going to do well, and who you think is going to do poorly. Once again, he is in my head rent-free. I'm hoping for the downfall of Larkin, but I do expect Papa Squanch to be looking to take a 3rd win in a row for this week. And again, I think that might be one of the most dominant displays we'll see in the P2 tier if he does win it this evening.
Yeah, I mean, if you can do 3 in a row, that'll be something, and that will definitely have question marks about his future and tier. But anyway, we're about to get going, and we've got 4 lights, 5 lights, and we are underway. It's a good start there by Papa from the front row. What can Morgan do? Morgan's going to get the one on the inside, and we've got the fast start. Williams and Rich. What a great start by Rich on the soft tyre. Can he keep it? No, he can't. Morgan's going to keep it here, but will Rich go for the inside? Will he do a Max Verstappen? No, he doesn't. He managed to back out of it there. But yeah, good start there by Rich. Morgan just about managed to hang on to 2nd place. He's starting the medium tyre, crucial for him to stay ahead of the fast start, and Williams and Rich.
Yeah, it certainly was a very good start from both of the Williams, and Morgan having a good start as well, but unfortunately didn't work out for him. Jess has had a spin out of the exit of the banking section, so she's all the way down in P16. Has she broken her front wing? She has indeed. So had that rear block penalty, and it's now gone from bad to worse for us. Start down in 13th and now even further down the grid. It's a very unfortunate start for Jess in terms of that. She even started on a set of the soft, so at least it won't be too bad for herself. As Larkin getting a move done on Moki, just coming out towards the first DRS zone. Of course, no DRS on the first lap. We won't get any DRS until we cross the line for that second lap to begin with. But yeah, very good start, very clean start from everybody. Obviously, other than Jess having that spin out of the banking section, and everybody just coming across the line to finish their first lap. So the guys that went on to set the softs, you know, the likes of Papa Squatch, Rich, Fade, and Vitinho, as well as Jess, which Jess is going to be coming in this lap. And Moby also came in. So
yeah, he must have damage too. Yeah. Obviously, Jess will just convert to what is a conventional one-stop, medium hard, and I think Moki have to do it well. But yeah, Moki must have wing damage, and this is probably one of the worst tracks to have wing damage on because it's such a high downforce track, and that mid if you got wing damage, that's my wing damage in my race. That mid part of the lap is just absolute torture. It's just not nice at all.
No, it is definitely very, very difficult to try and maneuver your way around this circuit around here. But yeah, Jess going on a set of the mediums, Moki going on a set of the hards, Gazzaman and Vitinho changing positions. Rydog has had a spin. Oh, and I've just seen a bit of front wing flying off of his car, as I think it was his car or someone else's car. But a bit of front wing just sort of went flying off there. I think he must have had a moment as he came out of that fast right-hand section, and just saw a very brief bit of yellow flags. And Vitinho also getting overtaken by Gazzaman. I can't see any wing damage on him, so I think everybody looks like they're okay at the moment, but I guess we'll see at the end of this lap who comes into the pits. As I say, DRS is now enabled, and I expect Mikey to be getting a move done on Lawrence for P7 here. The Aston Martin eyeing up this move on the kick Sauber out in front of him. Going to go down the inside in towards turn number 1. Is he going to be able to get that move done? They're both still holding it side by side. Lawrence is going to have the outside, the better traction. Mikey does a bit of an understeer into the side of the kick Sauber, but manages to hold it, but is going to have to hold position for now. I wonder if Mikey picked himself up wing damage from that.
It is quite possible. That's sort of a situation where hit that sort of contact where it's quite easy to pick up damage. Have a quick look at his car. It doesn't seem... Well, if he has got damage, it's only minor damage because the end plates seem all right. I'm not sure the front part of it. No, it seems like he's got away with that, I think. So lucky boy there for the Aston Martin boy to get away with that without getting any significant damage for that.
Yeah, he has gotten away with that indeed. So
Lawrence is struggling a bit. Lawrence is struggling for pace. He's a 3-second gap to Larkin ahead. So like you see, Mikey's desperate to get by because Lawrence is a bit of a roadblocker. The front set 6 have pulled away a lot. So yeah, you can see why he's desperate to get by.
Yeah, and I expect again a similar sort of thing to happen here as well. Morgan trying to eye up a move on Papa Squanch as well for the lead of the race. He in fact actually gets that move done. I tried to go to it, but for some reason it's just wasn't able to get to that. They're still both side by side of each other. The Papa Squanch on the outside, Morgan on the inside. He's going to have the inside for turn 2, but outside for turn 3 at the banking, and Papa Squanch maintains the lead of the race at the moment, but goes for a bit of a switchback on the exit of that as well. Is he going to be able to get that switchback done? They're both still side by side going through the fast left to right to another right and then downhill section. Morgan gets that move done. Absolutely drained his battery, but gets that move done on the Williams of Papa Squanch. So very, very well done and very good move from him indeed. I've actually just had a look on the telemetry, and Papa Squanch has underfueled his car. I can see that yellow fuel light popping up on my screen.
Oh wow, that's a bit of a surprise really, because this track's gonna be quite hard on fuel, so he's gonna do some fuel saving up for a safety car. That's a bit surprising. Though. I'm surprised to see that, and maybe Papa's doing a little bit of fuel saving this first stint. Maybe that's why he thinks in the slipstream. Obviously, when you're in the slipstream of a car, you do save fuel. Maybe Papa was a bit tactical there to let the Aston through, but it didn't look like tactical the way he was fighting it in the midsection of the lap. Good, respectful driving by two. Is Papa going to repass him in? No, I believe it's a bit too far back, and yeah, nice move there by Morgan, and I believe Salo's lost a couple of places as Larkin's got by, and Lawrence like here far by side, a bit of contact there. They're very close together. Look, they've got 3 wide approaching turn 3, and Lawrence had to back out of it there. I wonder if Lawrence got damaged there because he lost a lot of time there. I don't know what happened there to Lawrence, but yeah, he lost a lot of time in turn 2, turn 3.
Yeah, so Larkin actually dove the inside of Solal going into turn 1. I think so. I wasn't expecting that, so just kind of moved himself out of the way slightly just to avoid any damage. So Larkin up into 5th position. As I say, he wanted to try and charge through this pack Obviously, with the DRS train, it's a lot harder for him to try and charge through there, but manages to get that move done up into 5th position now.
Oh.
Mikey as well ended up going, well, they're both side by side with Lawrence. Lawrence actually went a bit too deep into turn 1, and it caused a little bit of a ruckus, allowed Joe to then try and sneak his way through, get past Lawrence, and then Welsh Benjamin also managed to get past the kick Sauber as well. My thinking is that Lawrence has got wing damage because he is losing places left, right, and centre, and I think you can actually see it on the front right. There is a bit that is a tiny bit of that wing is missing. So yeah, I think Lawrence is definitely struggling with with Ensby on this track, and yeah, we'll see if he's able to maybe come into the pits very soon. Papa Squanch and Morgan once again going at it for the front of the field. Papa Squanch manages to get that past the Aston Martin up into the lead of the race.
Yeah, Morgan on the mean tyres. You expect this crossover to happen where the mean tyres will be quicker than the soft. So yeah, Papa, if he can hold this Aston back for as long as he can, he's going to help him deeper into the race. And yeah, Lawrence definitely struggling because I saw him and Quinn both go off at the corner these two approaching now, and that allowed Gaza to move up to 10th place. So Gaza yet again picking up pieces from other people's instance, and these front 6 are now starting to pull away massively from Mikey. We see Mikey's got any pace now. He's cleared Lawrence, who was definitely struggling for whatever reason, but 6 seconds is a lot. It's a lot of time to find, and when these guys all got DRS helping each other pull away, that's going to be a difficult job for him to catch up.
Yeah, it certainly will, but he might need Joe and Welsh Benjamin to try and help him catch to the back of those guys. I mean, he's got to hope that Papa Squanch's tyres on those softs die out pretty quickly and that Morgan can't get past him, purely so that Mikey can catch up and try and have a bit of a battle with the rest of those guys. But down the inside goes Morgan in towards turn 1. Once again, a lead change for, I believe, the 5th time this evening, as there's yellow flags out of the banking. That is Gazaman. Gazaman must have had a bit of an incident as Vitinho slides just in front of Gazaman into the pit lane, gets a 10-second penalty for his troubles on that. Gazaman has actually broken his front wing, so I wonder if he hit the back of someone. In fact, it doesn't look like he has. The game just lied to me. So, yeah, Gazaman into the pits, changing for a set of the hards. Vitinho also in his routine pit stop, but picks up a 10-second penalty in the process of that.
Yeah, might be in the pits there. I think Gasly did the same thing in qualifying, where he just lost it by himself on that penultimate corner, where maybe he was a bit too eager on the ERS, but probably didn't get his line right and just maybe went a little bit too wide. And you go wide there, get stuck on that curb, and you just get sent into the wall. Just literally, because your car's running so low, it just sucks the curb, and you got no chance there. And Gasly again involved in that war. You must be hating that penultimate corner as the front 2 have now broken DRS to Rich. The front 2 are now, it might be Private and Morgan as the grey lap there. I wonder if Papa may be thinking of a pit stop pretty soon, because I believe his tyres are starting to go off now. Morgan's now trying to make a run for it.
Yeah, he certainly is, and as you say, Rich is obviously, he's out of that DRS from those front 2. Papa Squanch looks like he's got the pace just to try and maintain behind Morgan for now, but those soft tyres are definitely going off. You can see Larkin is trying to find every which way he can to get past Fade and Rich, but of course Fade's being helped by Rich with that DRS. So yeah, Rich I think is going to be able to well, he's going to think about a pit stop very soon, but whether it's going to be him or Papa Squanch that comes in first, so both starting on the set of the soft tyres, we'll see which one is going to blink first and make their way into the box. Obviously, Larkin and Solau, all both of their teammates. Well, Joe's down in 8th and Jess at the very back end of the grid, but she has already made her first pit stop as Gazaman is into the pits again for a 2nd time already to chuck on a fresh set of soft tyres.
There's another wing change, I believe. So there's yet another incident, another front wing change. Yeah, and yeah, in theory, he can get in the race, but there's absolutely no chance on heaven or earth he's going to get the end on a set of softs. So he's committed to a 3-stop strategy, maybe in a 4-stop. That is not a great race for Gaza. I bigged him up, and I think I cursed him earlier on, and he's just 2 laps in a row, and McLaren will be running out of wings. They'll be a bit concerned that they might run out of wings for the end of the race. Papa's in, so we called it. Papa's in. What tyre we go for? I believe we go for a set of mediums. It looks like mediums, is it? Yes, it is. Set of mediums. Where will he come out? Will he come out in traffic? This might be crucial for his undercut. I believe he's going to come out in some nice... It's going to be behind the Haas, I believe, of Rydog. Not ideal, but if you can get by him quickly, it might work out for me. Now, Morgan's going to run long, obviously, on the mediums. Now, what's Rich going to do? Is he going to follow his teammate in? I probably should do, and try and maybe do a good backup job for his teammate there. But yeah, Pab's going to come out with some traffic, which is not the best, not the best for him there. Not all that traffic.
No, it certainly isn't. So down in 12th position is Papa Squanch. Obviously, he's all over the back of Rydog and Quinn, and yeah, he's going to need to make some manoeuvres pretty soon if he wants to have any chance of still fighting for the win for this evening. Out the front of the grid as well, whilst all that was going on, Fade and Larkin managed to actually get past Fade into turn 1. So the Red Bull is now up into 3rd position, of course, a net 4th from when they do make their pit stops. But let's have a look.
I think it'll be
Is
second.
the other Williams going to make his way into the pits? Now, however, he certainly is. So Rich into the pits. Fade, is he going to follow? No, but he actually stays out on those soft compounded tyres. So both Williams have made their pit stops now. Obviously, Papa Squanch is all over the back of Rydog, and I'm expecting him to actually make a move as we've got the DRS now wide open for the Williams driver. I think Rydog is not going to try and fight this one too hard. Goes down the inside, gets that move done. Where is Rich in relation to his teammate, though? He's just coming out of the actual pit lane now. And Papa Squanch already through turn 1. So a significant gap between the two Williams boys. I think Rich is going to definitely need to try and speed it up a bit. But yeah, I think, what was it, a 1.2, 1.3 second gap before Rich made a pit stop. So yeah, I think that just goes to show the undercut is massive.
Yeah, it's very huge. And that was stuck being Rich traffic there, which Papa has cleared. Yeah, it's very obviously it is the undercut is huge because all the corners around here, it's quite easy to keep the tyres up temperature. So once you get them hooked up, it's about 2 seconds, about 2.5 seconds. The undercut. I had it in my race where some guy pitted 3 laps before me, and he came out the pits about 7 seconds ahead. It was like, wow, that's quite incredible. And yeah, so Morgan's got to be wary here. He cannot afford to go too long because yeah, you have a nice offset, but as Larkin's in already in the mediums, that's quite early to the mediums, and so Salo. So these guys are wary of that undercut threat for sure, and they're pitting early in the mediums. I'm quite surprised to see Larkin's gone for the hard tyre, and so is Salo. So we're seeing a bit of a divergent strategy here, and this is going to be interesting to see as Papa will come out comfortably ahead of Larkin and Salo, but them hard tyres, they're going to take a couple blocks to get up temperature, but I had them in the race. They're not a bad race tyre. They can get a good long way to the race as Larkin just crossed the pit entry line there, but thanks for him, it's not a penalty in the game, and yeah, he comes out in 5th, just ahead of Rich, so that was good for Larkin. He basically overcut the Williams.
Yeah, he did a very good lap indeed. I think Larkin needed to try and just speed off as much as possible, but yeah, the medium tyres, I would have expected these guys to pit in around lap 10, lap 11 anyway. So I'm expecting Morgan to be pitting on this lap. But where is he going to come out in relation to the likes of Papa Squanch, in relation to Larkin and Rich? Of course, I think he was obviously fighting with Papa Squanch. So, and he's already 16 seconds behind the Aston Martin. So with Papa Squanch with free air as well, or fresher tyres, I think Morgan is going to be losing this first place. But how significant is it going to be? In fact, he actually stays out again for another lap. So this makes me think that Morgan is going to be going on at least one set of soft tyres this evening.
Yeah, I think so. The softs can do, I think a fresh set of softs later on the race can do about 10 laps. So yeah, if you can go another lap or 2 longer, then the double soft is in play. But the problem with the soft tyre is you have to pit on the right lap for you. Because if you pit a lap too early, then you know you're going to lose a lot of time, so you have to manage them well. But if you're good on tyres, the double soft is in play. As I believe we've got a preview of what Axelot's going to do in his race, because he's been blatant about medium soft all week. So we know what his strategy is, and I think Morgan may be copying that strategy.
It certainly could be, but yeah, I've just had a look as well. Rich 500 has managed to get the move back down on Larkin, so he's back up into a net 2nd position. So Rich had a bit of a moment now. I thought Larkin was actually going to go down the inside there just before that fast right-hander, but he backed off of that one. Rich going a bit defensive now as well on the Red Bull driver. It's causing a little bit, or having a bit of a concertina effect, because Larkin's now going to try and swoop it around the outside of that sweeping left-hander. Not going to be able to get the move done. It's inviting Fade and Salau now to try and go for some sort of move on the Williams and the Red Bull driver. Larkin going to try and hold that position now for the time being. He certainly does. Of course, on those hard tyres, it's going to be a lot harder for Larkin to try and do anything. And Quinn, of course, has gotten himself involved in that. Not made a pit stop as of yet, but he's now at the front of this DRS train. He's given DRS to Rich, so he's managing to help Rich out with that bit there. And you can see Quinn is going to lose not 1, not 2, possibly 3 positions going in towards turn 1.
Yeah, Quinn's just trying not to get involved in this. I think he knows it's not his race. He's trying to lose him little time as possible, and it's so difficult when you're getting passed by so many fast cars. You just see one in your mirror, two in your mirror, three. Where is it ending? And yeah, he gets a bit of a moment there, and I believe it'd be wise just to let the Mercedes through. Maybe try and hook onto DRS from the back of these guys, get a bit of lap time back there, yeah, but Quinn wasn't having any of that, and obviously on the hard tyres, doing a long first stint, and yeah, the only problem doing that, letting the cars like that, is you do lose a bit of race time, so it's not the best for his race. I believe if he could have pitted, he would have pitted then, but you can't on the hards because you commit to a long stint on the hard tyre, so yeah. Quinn did the best job he could do there. As Morgan's come out the pits on a fresh set of mediums, and he's about 4.5 seconds behind Papa, but he's on 4 lap fresher tyres, so we'll see if that gap will come down. Welsh Benjamin will be pitting pretty soon there, so we'll soon have a straight fight between them two for the lead.
Yeah, there certainly will be. So yeah, I think a very good pit stop from Morgan there, just to make sure he's avoided all of the carnage that's going on behind him, with obviously with Rich, with Larkin, with Fade, and with Solal. So yeah, he's managed to hold on to the second position, which is very good from him. Another battle that is brewing at the moment is between Mikey and Joe. Joe with the DRS on the Aston Martin was maybe looking at going on the inside, but Mikey's just going to hold on to that position for the time being. Both made their first pit stop already, so this is their true positions, of course, other than Quinn out in front of them without making a pit stop as of yet. And Welsh Benjamin also just came into the pits for his first pit stop on those hards. He's now onto the medium tyres, and I'm assuming going for a set of the mediums at the end of it as well. So no safety cars as of yet, no DNFs, no retirements. Obviously, other than what happened at the start with Jess, with Gaza, and I think with Fatinho and Moqui, yeah, everything's been relatively clean, no safety cars or anything at the moment. A couple battles going on here and there. See the big train going on from 3rd down to 6th position at the moment. Of course, this battle here as well between Mikey and Joe. And I'm surprised they're not actually catching Quinn as fast as I thought that they would be. But again, I guess only time will tell when they will be able to actually catch up to the back of that McLaren out in front of them.
Yeah, and Beef Quinn will pit for the catch up. There's a 7-second gap, and yeah, Quinn's showing solid pace so far. He's in what some fast boys got past. Yeah, he's showing a good pace, and he's going to come back doing this long stint on the hard tires. He's going to come back soon. These guys swallowed back later on, so Quinn's guy to watch out for later in the race. Maybe get some couple of points to get his season off and running, because he hasn't had the best of starts so far in this tier.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we'll see if Quinn's able to maybe make it up a bit more on later on in the race. Of course, unfortunately, his teammate, I think, he's not going to the end on those softs. So I think Gazaman's going to really sort of struggle to pick up any points for this evening unless a few things go his way out in front of him. But yeah, I think he's definitely going to struggle for any points this evening. Sadly for the McLaren, just coming to the pits for her second stop actually, to go on a set of the hards. I'm assuming this will be to go to the end of the race, or potentially to go on a fresh set of softs at the end of the race. I don't think, I think Jess is another one, unfortunately, that might be out of the running for any points, but I think she's just looking to have a good battle with both Fatinho and with Gazaman. In fact, she's only come out just behind the Ferrari as well, so see if she's able to maybe have a good battle with those guys at the back of the field. Of course, you also get another point for fastest lap outside of the top 10 as well, so maybe that's what she's looking to do towards the end of the race, is to go for that fastest lap point at the end of the race, as Morgan, as I was saying that, set the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, not surprised there. His fresh tyres, and the gap's come down to 3.1 seconds, so he's gaining a lot on Papa, and Papa, I think, can come to pressure pretty soon. And yeah, obviously the guys are back there, be hoping for a safety car. All they got to do is just stay in the lead lap, which they are comfortable at the moment, and then if they do that, the safety car will bring them right back into contention. But yeah, Morgan, every time I see that gap, it's coming down corner by corner, which is the benefit of running longer. Obviously you do lose a bit of time early on, but now this is where it comes back and gives you rewards. And Papa's still a couple laps away from his final pit stop, and there'll be Papa maybe going medium hard, and Morgan, I wonder what he'd be going for. Maybe go for another set of mediums, so we might see a bit of divergent strategy here. But yeah, Morgan looking very much a two-way fight between these two for the race win, and yeah, Morgan half a sec quicker this lap, so yeah, he's definitely reeling in the Williams.
Yeah, he certainly is. So we'll see maybe in a couple of laps' time if he's able to actually get into or close up to the back of Papa Squanch. But of course, Papa Squanch started on a set of softs, Morgan starting on a set of mediums, and it's currently working out for the Williams at this current moment. Of course, Rich also started on a set of softs, still managing to hold on to P3, as there was a couple of time penalties that just went on there. Vitinho getting a 3-second penalty. Did Quinn also just speed into the pits, to my knowledge?
I think so, yeah.
We'll see it in just a second, but yeah.
Yeah,
very
he did.
unfortunate for Quinn.
10-second penalty. Yeah, on a set of medium tyres, but yeah, that's going to cost him because obviously around here it's quite a short pit lane, so it's on 17 seconds pit loss, 18 seconds pit loss. So yeah, this is probably the worst track to pick up a 10-second penalty because that comes 28-second pit loss down. That's going to cost him in his fight for a points position, which I think he's in, but that's going to hurt him a lot. He's another guy now I think will probably want a safety car, as the gap's now 2 seconds, so it is going to be not very long until the Aston Martin is in the DRS of the Williams.
It certainly won't be, and just a little bit further out in front of that, Mikey and Joe, the battle is still going on at the moment for that 7th position. 12 seconds, though, is Mikey behind Solal, so that gap that was created by Lawrence at the very start of the race, it's grown even further, and unfortunately for Mikey, I don't think there's any way if he's going to be able to catch up without the help of a safety car. So I guess he's probably hoping and praying that somebody does manage to crash themselves out, so that a safety car can be caused. And they can, obviously, Michael will then be on the back of the rest of these guys. But yeah, that gap at the front of the field there, Jamie, it is closing up massively. Papa Squanch is now only 1.5 seconds in front of Morgan. He is taking 0.5 of a second out per lap on that Williams. And I think it's only inevitable that Aston Martin's going to get into the lead of the race.
Yeah, definitely. And the DRS, because you run such high rings on it, the DRS is quite powerful. So if you get close enough, it should be a relatively easy overtake for the Aston guy with a bit of battery. So yeah, especially on older tyres. So Papa, every time the traction zones, you see Papa is struggling to get the power down. When you go on board the Aston, it is looking so easy. Not quite DRS yet, but in the middle sector, last lap it will be. It might actually be. I'm not sure where the detection point is, but I think he's just out of it at the moment. But he will be in it now. He'll be in it next lap for sure. And this overtake's going to happen pretty quickly. I don't think Papa's going to have much of a defence because as he locks up there, you can tell how much he's pushing, and he's trying to find that bit extra pace. As Larkin now gets Rich for 4th place. Them hard tyres are now starting to cut temperature quite nicely for Larkin. Now can Larkin pull away and maybe try and close the gap a bit to leaders? It's 7 seconds, so it's a bit of a gap there, but Larkin on the hard tyre now, he'll be looking to maybe put a bit of pressure on the guys ahead if these two have a bit of coming together. We'll wait and see. Papa has a decent middle sector there. I think he's using a bit of battery to try and avoid the DRS, but I think it's inevitable. I think it's going to happen pretty soon anyway.
Yeah, it certainly will be. So I think Larkin is definitely in a very good spot at the moment. He needs to try and pull ahead of Rich and Faye. Of course, both of those guys on a set of mediums, but those mediums are definitely starting to die out for the pair of them at the moment. So yeah, Larkin just needs to try and do what he can to pull away from those guys, get himself out of the DRS, and see if he can, try and catch up to those top two, as Morgan still just teetering on the edge of DRS to Papa Squanch. I don't think he actually even managed to get it this time around. No, he hasn't. So yeah, Papa Squanch managed to do just enough to stay up ahead of Morgan in terms of the DRS side of things. But yeah, I think, again, it's only inevitable that Morgan is just going to get onto the back of our championship leader very, very soon. He's done 11 laps on these mediums, so I am expecting Papa Squanch to maybe make a pit stop very, very soon. As Solar trying to go down the inside of fading towards turn number 1. The Dane is going to be able to hold on up ahead of the Mercedes driver behind them indeed. So Solar managing to having to hold on to that position for now, but Fade is under a bit of pressure from the Mercedes, so he might have to start looking behind him as opposed to maybe looking at a potential overtake on Rich very, very soon, because as he's saying, these medium tyres are definitely now dying out, and Solar obviously being on those hards is going to look to try and put a challenge on not only to Fade but to Rich out in front of them.
Yeah, that grid penalty is really costing me, because he would have been ahead of these 3 guys who were out the grid penalty. Now it just shows you how 3 place grid penalty does seem a lot, but it's lost him a lot of race time here. And Salah has a bit of a moment there in the dirty air, not getting a great exit there, which is going to allow the Danish guy to have a bit of respite there, as Morgan's within half a second of Papa, so we may see the lead for the pass the lead here. It's 4 attempts, it's within range, it's in the DRS, ERS, and what's Papa's defence? Not much of a defence there, to be said. And Morgan is in the lead and very comfortable there. Such an easy overtake. It was like he was lapping the Williams car.
Yeah, it certainly did. So Morgan now up into the lead of the race. Obviously 4 lap fresher tyres in comparison to Papa Squanch. Rich looking to try and go for a move on Larkin as well. As Salah manages to get the move done on Fade out onto turn number 1. I think a better traction he must have had, of course, with the dying tires off by Fade and Rich. Rich not able to get the move done. Fade now dropping off another position, so now down into 6th position. Needs to try and hold on to the DRS on the rest of these guys here, but I'm expecting the RB to make a pit stop, maybe for a set of the hards to go to the end of the race very, very soon. We saw what it was like on the first set of pit stops. The undercut is definitely the best strategy on that. As we saw from, well, Papa Squanch, he's 6.5 seconds up ahead of Larkin. So, yeah, I think the undercut is definitely the best thing that he can go for. We'll see if, you know, I mean, I'm expecting even Papa Squanch to maybe make a pit stop for a set of the hards this lap.
He has to really, because he's lost DRS to Morgan. So if I was Papa, I'd be in now. Because he's lost DRS to Morgan. Morgan's going to pull away. So Papa, if I was Papa, I'd be in the pits now. It's got set hard to the end. What's he going to do? Yeah, he's listening to me. He's in the pits, and it should be set hard to the end because you get it slowed down time quite hard. Pit lane. Oh, wow. Do you see that? You're bun there. Got it slowed down. Looking up in the Williams pit lane. It's a long way down. So we'll see what he goes for. It does look like a set of medium tyres. Now that's interesting. The mediums can get the end here, but it might be quite sketchy. So Papa's going aggressive now. Now that's going to be interesting because the last couple of laps might be quite difficult, but he's got another undercut on the Aston Martin guys. Should be in the lead again, but so we may get a repeat of what happened that last stint there, where Papa will be in the lead. Nice clear air for him, so he's going to have a great clear to get his tyres bedded in and set some sparkling laps. But yeah, the mediums they can do that distance, but the last 2 laps for him are going to be a nightmare, I believe.
Yeah, they certainly will be. But I mean, what's quite interesting to me is that Larkin was on a set of the hards, didn't 10 laps on them, and he's now coming for another set of hard tyres. So he followed Papa Squanch into the pit, and he has now got 3 cars between himself and Papa Squanch, and unfortunately has come out in the train of Welsh Benjamin, Joby, and Mikey. But I wonder if this is now going to set up the fact that Rich and Fade are also going to make a pit stop as Jess getting the move done on Vitinho down in towards turn number 1. Mokwe, by the way, has done 20 laps on these hards, so he's absolutely been a bit of a trooper on those hard tyres, and he's stayed out up until this point. I'm sure we'll probably see him in the end at this lap. As Rich now losing the position to Salah. Salah now up into 2nd position. Rich not coming in. Fade not coming in either. They're just going to be losing time to Larkin, but at the same time, Larkin is stuck in this DRS train with Welsh Benjamin and Joe B.
Yeah, Larkin has to be aggressive here, and he gets by Benjamin pretty easy there. And he's used a bit of battery there to get by him. He's drained that little bit there, but he's going to lose a good second, I believe, behind 2 guys because he cannot overtake in the middle sector. There's no overtake opportunity in the middle sector at all. So he's going to have to hope he can get both of them. But the only problem is, as you mentioned, with DRS train, Joe's got DRS on Mikey, so it's not going to be easily done. As a way Benjamin lost the DRS of Larkin, which made it easier for him to get by. He's got Haas going very slowly. That is Rydog. He had a moment there, damaged his wing. He's come to the pit lane as Moki has finally pitted them hard tyres. Could be glad that job's over, but you know, getting damaged early on, that's going to give him a point, I believe, as Rydog's retired in the pit lane, so that shouldn't be a safety car.
It won't be a safety car, but a late retirement on lap 23 gets doubled doubled the engine wear. And double gearbox wear.
Look at all 3 in the pit at the same time. Solo, Rich and Fage all in the pit at the same time. Now these should be all set of mediums. I believe you go for soft T, you're taking a bit of a gamble. So they all should have gone for mediums. Now where will Larkin come out? Larkin should be ahead. But look at him, we've got side-by-side drill. That's not ideal for Larkin there, but gets the job done. Now, has this fighting cost him position? It's going to be very tight. I tell you what, Larkin's not as far as ahead as he would have liked to have been. That traffic definitely cost him there, and he's going to be under pressure because Solo behind is on fresher tyres, so Larkin is going to find it hard to defend this 3rd position.
He certainly will. And the 2 Mercedes, I think, are just going to trade positions. Joe was trying his best to hold up Larkin. Of course, obviously his teammate, Salah's teammate, going to be, trying to hold up a rival of his, and he did a very good job of that. He's only managed to be in front of Salah by 5.5 seconds. Ooh. What has happened to Larkin?
He had a drift there, a massive drift there, and he went into the gravel trap there. I don't know what happened there. He maybe got a bit too eager on the throttle there. It was like a rally-style drift there. He's lost all that hard work he's done has gone into the bin. I think you might have cursed him there for his football message. I think that is the curse you put in there. I think that's come true there.
Preyed on the downfall. And he's answered my prayers. Larkin, unfortunately, for himself, though, down into ninth position. I don't know, because that looked very weird. I don't know if that might have been contact with Mikey. I don't know if he was maybe trying to go for like an audacious move and he put a gap between, or car between himself and Salah.
I didn't get the best camera angle of that, so I didn't see. I didn't get the best camera angle, so I didn't see it fully. But yeah, he just looked like a massive drift there. It was weird. I don't know, but I didn't see where Mikey was in Malaysia. So it might have been contact there, but I'm not 100% sure. So whatever, it's lost him a lot of time. And doing a side like that, it puts a lot of stress on the tyres, and it's going to take a good lap or so to get the tyres temperatures down, and it's going to put a bit more tyre wear on his tyres. So yeah, that is not what he wanted to see, and I think that's his podium chances gone, because I think Solo will just pull away now on the mediums, and there's a 5-second gap as it is. So yeah, that is very difficult, as Morgan is running quite long here. I wonder if Morgan's going for softs at the end. I believe Morgan may be going for softs at the end.
I think he is here, Jamie, to be honest with you. He's done 13 laps on these mediums. He did that on the first stint as well. I'm expecting him to go on a set of softs to take them maybe 8 or 9 laps at the end of the race. So maybe in a lap or two, he makes his pit stop. He's only really got to worry about Papa Squanch. I mean, he's 23 seconds ahead of Solau. I think the pit lane, as you say, or pit lane lost time is 18 seconds. So
it's very short, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm expecting Morgan to come in for a set of softs to go to the end of the race. Solau setting the fastest lap off the race, and he's put a couple cars between himself and Rich, as I say, that they both, one comes in, one gets overtaken. Both Fade and Rich now getting past Lawrence, but already the gap is done between Solau and Rich. 4-second gap between the Williams and the Mercedes, obviously both being on the same set of tyres as well. So Rich has got to do this on pure pace to try and catch up to the back of Solau if he wants any chance of a podium this evening. Fade as well. He's had a decent race so far as the RB driver. I say this is more what I was expecting of him since the pre-season. Obviously, we haven't seen it so far, but yeah, I think this is more of what I was expecting to see from the RB driver, as Larkin is now trying to get a move done on Lawrence for P6. Of course, Lawrence not made a second pit stop as of yet. In fact, I'll have a look at the pit stops in just a short moment. But the Red Bull driver manages to get past the kick Sauber and now up into 6th position as Morgan into the pits, chucking on those soft tyres. So he is going to be taking those soft tyres 10 laps to the end. How far is he in relation to Papa Squanch as he's just making his way out of the pits?
Not that far behind. He's about 6 seconds, a bit more than 4, but 6 seconds, that is definitely catchable on a fresh set of softs compared to a slightly worn set of mediums. So this is going to be very close. This could come down to, I reckon this could be 3 or 4 laps to go. We're going to see a fight there. I think Morgan is the favourite to win if he doesn't make any mistakes, because a fresh set of softs are absolutely rapid round here. So look at Morgan, he's gained half a second already on the outlap.
Yeah, I'm expecting Morgan to be making some gains on Papa Squanch within these next couple of laps. It's just whether he's going to be able to have the tyres at the end of that for it to be held as well. Don't forget, Papa Squanch had that yellow fuel light on. It's disappeared now, but I'm assuming he's probably teetering on the edge of the fuel side of things. So maybe he's going to have to take it a bit easier, which is going to allow Morgan to just catch up even more. I mean, in this lap alone, he's already dropped a second of that time from himself and Papa Squanch as soon as he came out of the pits. So, yeah, Morgan, I think, as you're saying there, Jamie, I think, unless he makes a mistake, he's definitely going to be taking the win for this evening. As actually, I just also realised, Larkin's been re-overtaken by Lawrence, but I think Lawrence is about to get re-overtaken by Larkin once again. Very surprising that Lawrence managed to get the move back down on Larkin, despite being 11 laps fresher tyres.
Missed that. I wonder if Larkin made a mistake somewhere. He missed that. Yeah, Larkin's dropped his 2.5 seconds back on the page now, so he was in for 3rd place. Now he's 6th. He should be pretty comfortable in 6th place there, but yeah, not the final stint Larkin wanted. And yeah, I don't think them hard tyres, I don't think a double set of hards has really worked today. I don't think it's been the right strategy, because I think the hards is just too slow for 2 stints. I believe he might have selected the wrong strategy today.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say he selected the wrong strategy. I think he actually had a very good strategy of doing a medium hard. But at the same time, obviously, I don't know what happened with that drift. I don't know if he did it himself or if he had a slight collision with Mikey, which caused that. But if he didn't have that collision, he would have been with Rich. I think still maybe even ahead of him. So
podium, yeah, could have been in 3rd place, yeah. And you never know what happened to 2 ahead, so it might have worked out for him there. But that's racing though. That's how it happens. Just tight margins, and and I believe that coming out in that traffic just killed his race. Coming out in that traffic with the likes of Mikey and Joe, that fierce battle for 7th place, and that just cost him there because he just wasn't. He had to push harder. Probably wanted better tyres in. As Morgan's now within 3 seconds of Papa. Now Morgan's gonna lap the Ferrari of Vitinho now, who might get a bit of DRS here down the back straight, which is going to help him out even more. But Vitinho is not really getting out of the way. He should be getting out of the way. Even if he had ghosted, he meant to be getting out of the way. So Vitinho's not making this easy for Morgan, but he's going to get DRS down here, so she should lap him here pretty easy there. Yes, he does he? Vitinho should be getting out of the way, and he does just about.
Yeah, I think Vitinho did just get out of the way for Morgan there. So, yeah, obviously, fair game to him for that. There are yellow flags. That is a kick Sauber going a bit slow. I think that was Lawrence that just had a bit of a moment.
Lawrence, yeah. Lost.
Yeah, he's about 6 seconds now behind Larkin. So, yeah, something happened obviously with Lawrence there. Very unfortunate. He's done 18 laps on these hards. I expect him to come into the pits at the end of this lap to chuck on a fresh set of softs. He's the only one that has not made his second stop as of yet. So, yeah, I won't be at all surprised if the kick Sauber makes his way into the pits at the end of this lap. But everything's sort of now... I'm quite surprised at the look of this here, Jamie. Everyone, barring the battle between Mikey and Benjamin, it's very spread out as Lawrence now picks up a 10-second penalty as well. So I think that's his chances of a potential point. Oh, no, he might still get points, actually. He's, depending on where he comes out in relation to his teammate, may still just about get himself a point or two. So, yeah, Lawrence, unfortunately, with the 10-second penalty, may not be getting as many points as what he was expecting. But, yeah, Mikey and Benjamin are the only two that are actually really close on track, and obviously Quinn and Jess as well, which is very surprising to me.
I know, yeah, because the first few laps with a few trains, but it's all been spread apart. I wonder if a Dirty Air's playing a factor here, and obviously saw Lakes of Larkin having his slide coming out on the hard tyres, and yeah, it's quite surprising that such spread out gaps because you know how close the grid was. And I think we had a few instances, a few guys losing wings early on. That's really not helped. They've got another yellow flag. That is, I believe it's is it Lawrence? Hard to tell who it was, but they've all recovered again, and Morgan is now within a 10th of the DRS of Papa. So next lap it will be on for sure. This lap actually will be on, I believe.
Actually, I've just had a look. Very strange.
He's in the pits, yeah, changing wing. He's in the pits, and yeah, Vitinho not having a great race there. In the Ferrari another wing change. We've had quite a few wing changes tonight, and a few of these teams have been running short on wings. We'll have to get him prepared for Monza, as Jess and Quinn obviously fighting to find the points position. But now we've got Morgan. He is all over like a Papa. I don't think Papa's got much to fight with here. I think Papa sort of knows. He knows second's good for his championship. So I don't think Papa will want to win, but he won't be fighting this too hard. He won't be he won't be getting too desperate here. But I think Morgan should get this done pretty easily, as he's within 4 attempts here. If you're within 4 attempts here, if you only get a good exit out the final corner, it should be easily done down the straight. A fresher set of tyres, and yeah, Papa struggling for traction there a bit. Morgan on the ERS, on the DRS, and this should be game, set and match for the Aston Martin guy there. Look, doing it before the straight, and it was sort of a repeat of what happened on the previous stint where it was sort of done so easily before the first turn, and the purple last sector debut as well.
Yeah, exactly that. So Papa Squanch now unfortunately losing out the lead of the race. Morgan now inheriting the lead for his first race win in one hub this season. Of course, on his debut as well. I was just talking about it beforehand. Obviously, the two Aston Martins deemed as the rivalries for this evening. But I mean, from the looks of things, what they had actually answered in the rivalry section is that they want to try and work as best together, or work as much together as possible, even by changing strategies and adapting to each other as to how they're driving. So it's worked out pretty well for them. Mikey's obviously sitting in 8th position at the moment. Morgan sitting in the lead of the race, of course, from where he had, or he qualified in 2nd position. So yeah, Morgan is looking to try and take his first race win in one hub on his debut. See if he's able to do so. Mikey obviously is going to inherit 7th position due to Joe's penalty, I believe, for speeding in the pit lane. So yeah, the only thing that Papa Squanch has got to be hoping is that Morgan picks himself up a puncture, or his soft tyres just die out extremely quickly.
Yeah, Papa don't let him up on beam, so he's could be in the effect much as well. Larkin now, he's recovered from his moment, and he's on the back of Phage here for 5th place, but he's a bit too far back in the moment there. But Papa is definitely feeling. Look at the Lund Larkin's got Larkin on battery. Look at the straight line speed. I wasn't expecting an overtake there, but Larkin with super straight line speed. They're up into 5th place. He's trying to make a recovery job, and 5th will be a decent recovery for him after his moments earlier on.
Yeah, very well done from Larkin on that. I said I prayed for his downfall, but I'm happy the fact he's managed to get himself back up into 5th position after that drift that he had beforehand. Obviously, with Mike not being here, someone had to do another drift, Mike, and obviously you had to get the mention in there. Larkin felt like he needed to represent his Welsh side, so he's I don't even know if he's part Welsh at all, but he wanted to represent his Welsh side and have that drift from him.
We had an either drift jester. Obviously, they're not the P1 commentary duo there, and the P1 lead commentator. P1 commentator almost did a tribute there, almost hit something in the wall there, but Jess managed to recover it somehow. And yeah, that was a scary moment there for the Red Bull driver. But wow, that was a massive moment for Jess coming out last corner.
I've got to say, she's had a bit of a good recovery so far. Obviously, she's only 1 second now behind Quinn, who's then for points. Also, not forgetting the fact that Lawrence has got that 10-second penalty. It's still a bit of time for her to try and catch up, but 1 second behind Quinn for that final point, it's still possible for her to get herself a point. So we'll see if she's able to maybe get the move done on Quinn, maybe in the final lap. But the thing is, 18 lap hold hard is going to be tough.
Yeah, that's why I had that moment of it, because they're starting to go off. And actually, Papa is sticking within the DRS and Morgan here, so it may not be done yet. Papa, if he can stay in DRS, he's got 90% battery, so he's got a lot of battery cheers. If Morgan can somehow stay, if Papa can stay in the DRS at Morgan, he may ambush him on the final lap. That's one to keep an eye out for sure. But Morgan would be desperate to break that DRS, so that could be interesting to see as we've got a battle between Mikey and Benjamin for 8th, and Larkin and Phage are battling over 5th place. So we're finally going to see some battles at the end here, and now Papa is not out of this. He's doing a good job, you have to say, of keeping himself in play.
He certainly is. So Larkin, I think, about to be overtaken here by Fade. I think, in fact, Fade is actually not close enough, not using his ERS either. So the RB versus the Red Bull, and Larkin manages to stay up ahead of Fade in 5th and 6th positions, respectively, as well. Mikey and Welsh Benjamin both going at it as well. The Welshman is looking to try and go for the move on the Aston Martin out in front of him. Is he going to be close enough to go for anything? No, the Alpine is just going to sit behind him for the time being. Of course, now Joe is also involved in that battle. He's just missing out to DRS of that. And I think Welsh Benjamin is going to be hoping that Mikey does not pick himself up any DRS on the back of that Mercedes out in front of him. Of course, Joe with that penalty as well. They'll both be jumping up ahead of him, but at the same time, they need to try and battle each other to try and get that other position and extra points as well. Quinn's coming to the pits as well as Gazaman. I'm surprised they are, because we're just about to go onto the final lap of the race, and Papa Squanch is going to be using that ERS. He wants to try and go for this move on Morgan down towards turn 1. Morgan goes defensive on that. Papa Squanch goes deep in towards turn number 1 to try and go for the better traction and the switch back on that. He's managed to hold it around the outside. They're both still side by side of each other as they make contact going in towards turn 3, and there goes Morgan into the wall. It was such a good battle. I think Morgan understeered into the side of Papa Squanch. He's now completely lost his front wing. Is he going to be able to hold on to second place? Solau is just going through the banking now. He's only a couple seconds behind Morgan.
Yeah, it's two seconds out. It's going to be difficult. Morgan lost his complete wing there. It's going to be very difficult here. This middle sector is absolute pain. No wing. Look how slow he's going. Solo, it's going to take second here. I'm pretty sure of it. And Richmond up too far behind. Solo's getting caught off guard by how slow the Aston is going there. I was about to say that was a great move by Papa on the outside, reminiscent of Lando Norris on Max Verstappen in the Grand Prix today. But then I think just a bit of contact there at the end. There, and Papa he's rounding the final 2 corners now. He's gonna take this race. It's gonna be free for the Williams man. And you have to say he had his hard work. He had to work for it today. Morgan was probably the quicker driver, but Papa is going to round the final corner. He's going to take his 3rd race win of the season. A good recovery from Solo from his from his penalty, his free place good penalty to finish second, and Morgan is really looking now. And I think Rich is going to get it for the podium here. Rich maybe it's going to be very tight at the podium. I think Morgan may just be able to hold on. What can Rich do? Has he got the run? No, he hasn't. Morgan just about hangs on to the podium now, so at least he does keep the podium position there as Rich loses out by 100th. We've got Fage in 5th, Larkin in 6th, Joe, it's going to cost line 7th, but he will drop down to 9th after Mikey and Benjamin. Will jump up Mikey and Benjamin. Actually, Mikey in the wall there. Disastrous last lap faster Martin there. Benjamin is through. I missed that, sorry, but Benjamin is through. Mikey's got cross line in 8th, Joe 9th, Lawrence 10th, but his teammate Moroki will drop him, and Jess actually picks up the point at the end there. So Quineth, his pit stop didn't work for him. I don't know why he pitted there. He should have stayed out and got the point, but there we go. And that is the race over.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Quinn did make that pit stop because it dropped him out of the points. So, very interesting strategy from him, but I suppose it's entirely up to himself. Papa Squanch, though, taking the win for this evening. It was a very valiant drive between himself and Morgan. As you were saying, I think Morgan probably was the quicker driver, but that battle at the end there, that last lap battle, I think it was getting desperate between the pair of them. And again, we'll have to have a look on both onboards. To me, anyway, it looked like Papa Squatch left enough room, and not Mikey, Morgan sort of understeered into the side of him. But again, we'll have to have a look at the onboards on that. Again, just from what we saw from that camera angle. Solau managed to jump up into second position after obviously Morgan having that collision as well. He does manage to hold on to the podium, though, in fairness to the Aston Martin. Rich manages to finish in 4th. I believe that is his best result of the season so far. Fade in 5th, with Larkin in 6th. Ralph Benjamin, 7 positions gained. Very, very underrated drive from himself. Mikey, until that last corner, he went too deep onto the curb. It caused him to just straight line it. So he ended up getting that damage on there. Joe in 9th, Moki in 10th. And of course, you see the rest of the results will show themselves very shortly. But yeah, a very valiant effort. I know Jess picked up the final point of the evening as well. So what a race that was at the end. Very, very strange as to what happened at the end there.
I know, yeah.
I don't know what else to sort of say about that. It was just very, just stuff happened. It's the only way I can say it, just stuff happened.
I was expecting once Morgan got bad spin to pull away, but he got to about 8 temps, but he just couldn't get that vital 1 second. And Papa did a great job managing battery at the end there, because he really saved it in the mid section. That was crucial because he got that great overrun and running on the outside, and that was the race winning pass there. And Morgan, well, I think it was unfortunate really. You could see he was desperate to get that race win, and I think maybe just a little bit over eagerness there on his part, but he's shown he's a contender this season for sure. I think he'll be gutted what happened at the end there, but he's definitely shown that he can fight at the front, and his development. That's what rookies do. That's what you learn from them, and he'll come back stronger because I'm sure.
No, 100%. But I've got to ask for yourself, Jamie, who is your sim racing driver of the day, and what would you like to ask him?
Oh, that's a difficult one. This is very difficult. I'm going to go for a guy who bit under the radar, kept it clean, didn't get any penalties, nice overtakes, had a good battle at the end. Then we'll go for Benjamin. I think 7th place and 40th on the grid. That's pretty good for him. Obviously, he's having a solid start to the season at midfield. I'm going to ask him, well done, Benjamin. Great result there. You must be happy with that. And how do you enjoy that? Do you was involved in a lot of battles today? Did you enjoy that and getting your fists out a bit and having a bit of a fight there? And did you think more was on the table? Did you think you maybe could have got a bit higher up, or do you think 7th was the maximum today?
Nicely done with that. And I'll probably have to say my driver of the day, I'd probably have to say, I don't know, because if he would have won that race, I would have said Morgan. But I think I'm going to have to say Papa Squanch. Again, it's a bit of a boring one. But he held his own against Morgan, who you could see was the quicker driver. Other than obviously in the qualifying, he was definitely the quicker driver. So, yeah, my question to Papa Squanch is, did you think you were going to come out on top of that race after you'd seen Morgan on those soft tyres? What had happened in that collision between the pair of you, and it's 3 race wins in a row. Are you worried about potentially being moved up into the P1 tier? Because 3 in a row in P2, surely the guys have got to be thinking a potential switch could be happening. So, yeah, the driver of the day vote done. That is the P2 stream all done and dusted. Thank you to everybody that has tuned in for this evening. Make sure you guys are checking out all of the sponsors down below on your screen. And obviously making sure you guys are checking out the P1 stream, which will be done by Jess and Salal straight after this one. Again, for myself in the P1 tier. Hopefully it'll be a good race, but I suppose we'll wait and see. Any final thoughts, Jamie, at all for this evening?
No, yeah, I enjoyed it. Obviously, it's a bit of a slow burn, that race, but it got very exciting at the end there, and yeah, it's great to see. And obviously, we'll see you for Monza, and well, we have a Monza Turn 1 moment next week. I think it may be a possibility.
Certainly will. So thank you to everybody that has tuned in tonight, and as Jamie said, we'll see you guys next week for round number 4 around Monza.